welcome back to a very special episode of Heels Up. I am Araña de Plata, and with me is the Blazing Rooster. And running controls today is La Sombra.
Happy Hispanic Heritage Month.
Happy Hispanic Heritage Month, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Heels Up. I am Vlad St. Valentine. We're not actually these people because we don't want them to find us and beat us up because Araña de Plata and is a real wrestler. Check him out. And, La Sombra, as we know, is Andrade.
Yeah, he's currently down in Florida, so I think we're a little safe from that one.
That's fair enough.
And you can follow the Blazing Rooster on all your social media platforms. You know, I'm Blazing Rooster.
That is true. Your mask though does make me think of the Golden Chick, and right now all I want is some yeast rolls.
I know, right? I bet you that proposal got made so many times. Just go by the Golden Chick.
I'm just saying the marketing writes itself. You can get sponsored.
Yeah,
Either sponsored or sued.
So we start off the night tonight with Retribution coming out, showing off their faces, looking like a bunch of dime store Banes. And
Predator.
Yeah, one of them looks like Predator.
Don't beat me up.
Who is what's his name?
Dio Madden.
Yeah, Dio Madden showing up. What's his name? Mace is his Retribution name.
Mace.
Dominic Dijakovic, we are theorizing, is the one playing T-Bar. And then Mia Yim was their mouthpiece to open up the night with her blue hair. It was very obvious.
That was too obvious.
Yeah. So we haven't figured out who the other. There's like 5 main ones.
Yeah, there's 5 that debuted tonight. The other 2, according to the internet,
Well, the other 20 other that are in the background or whatever.
Those are the bronze level members.
Oh yeah, that's right. They haven't.
Yeah, this is the platinum circle.
Okay.
Is this like Scientology where you have to like pay to get to certain levels or whatever?
Pyramid scheme.
Okay.
Mia Yim started and she brought 2, and then they brought 2, and yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But the other 2 in the platinum level are apparently Shane Thorne, which is Slapjack, that we found out tonight.
Yep.
And Mercedes Martinez.
So Shane Thorne is the one playing Slapjack, who we also saw wrestle
in a Jason mask.
Yep.
In a bad Jason mask. All right, you know what? I dig the outfits. I dig they look like bad creative characters from a 2K game that some goth kid made. So I don't hate the look, but them going off about, their anti-cap. This is, Republican Vince's take on Antifa and anti-capitalism. I still get that vibe from it, especially with all the jargon they're spitting out. So I'm cool to watch them wrestle. I'm not cool to get a lecture one way or the other. Yeah, life sucks enough as it is. I don't need real life invading my escapism.
Yeah.
At least as far as wrestling goes, like wrestling's ridiculous. Like that's not one of those things like, we need more gritty realism. Like did fucking Vince hire Zack Snyder to write?
Oh man.
Next thing you know, we're gonna have like John Cena and like Bray Wyatt starting shit on. Do you bleed? We're gonna figure out that Sister Abigail's real name is Martha. And why did you say that name? So Retribution's out there giving their diatribe, and the Hurt Business comes out to confront them. And they bail out of the ring at first, and Hurt Business is, challenging them for a match that night. And as soon as they do, the bronze level shows up and swarms the ring and beats the Hurt Business down a little bit. So that's our opening segment.
But the Hurt Business is standing their ground against these guys. They really are.
So yeah, I mean, they were holding their own pretty well, but eventually the numbers do overwhelm them in this opening segment. So they get beat down. We'll go to commercial. After that, we get the Street Profits out, and they're going to be on commentary we're going to have a tag team triple threat match for the number 1 contender.
Yeah, so we had a team of Angel and Andrade. I guess they're back together again.
Yeah, they're trying to prove that they're better off without Zelina. We'll see how that goes.
Yep.
Yeah, let's see. And then we also have Murphy and Seth Rollins, which I guess that's a love-hate relationship right there.
Yeah, at this point in time, Seth is Ike and Murphy's just rolling on that river, man.
Yeah, he's got that Stockholm bad.
And then we got the new team of Dominic Mysterio and Humberto Carrillo.
Yeah, they actually they looked really good together. The fresh faces. We were talking about putting Murphy with Dom if Murphy split from Seth, but I kind of like Humberto and Dominic together.
They look like a great tag team. They honestly do.
They look like a lot of fun. They did some high fly moves, kind of crisscrossing each other. It looked nice. The synchronization in the ring together. They look like they had some natural chemistry together. Like that's actually a team. I would get them some matching gear and go ahead and get them a name and an intro.
For sure. So beatings were given left and right to each other. During this match, of course, we had the moment where when is Seth is going to turn on Murphy again.
Yeah, it did happen again this match. Murphy was in a little bit of peril. This was pretty good back and forth again. Dom and Humberto were definitely the highlight, but eventually they kind of get taken out of the match a little bit. And no, effectively they're taken out of the match, not a little bit. They're effectively taken out of the match. Murphy's in some peril. He goes to make a tag, and Seth just straight up walks away.
Well, he has something more important to do, I guess.
He said he's got something more important to do. So Murphy's left on his own. Eventually, he did just a nasty spinning back fist or back elbow from Andrade. Couldn't tell which part connected. Was it the elbow?
It was the elbow.
Yeah, just bam. Real nasty. Then the wing clipper from Angel. 1, 2, 3. Angel and Andrade are going to go and take on the Street Profits at Clash of Champions, which again is something I've said previously. I'm not interested in seeing because they haven't beaten the Street Profits. They lose to them over and over again. And now if you had them go win at Clash of Champions, I'm just not really going to buy it as much. It's just kind of be more annoying than anything else because like they don't really have any chemistry together. They keep fighting. We had a blow up. Like there's this.
I don't know, man. Like
I don't mind them fighting for the championship again, I guess, because you didn't really have anything else built up. But like it's definitely not something I want to. Like you've had the Mysterios and you have Seth busy doing something else. So when I saw the 3 teams that were there, I figured this was what was going to happen. But
why?
You can't do anything else different except for have Angel and Andrade win. And I would hate for that to happen because the Street Profits are much more engaging as champions. So this is one of those situations where I think they wrote themselves into a no-win situation.
I guess they're gonna just make them a transitional champion. We need another heel tag team. That's what it is.
Yeah, we do. But we'll see how this one shakes up. But Andrade and Angel are, I guess, at least a little bit on the same page tonight. They end up picking up the victory and they'll go on to Clash of Champions.
Yep.
So we come back from commercial break. We got Retribution cutting a promo against the Hurt Business, and they accept their challenge. We're going to get a 3-on-3 tag team match later on the night for our main event. And they're just rambling on about, money's bad and people doing things for money is bad and they're going to punish people and blah, 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 blah. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, pretty much. Antifa.
So after that, we get the KO show with Shane O'Mac as the special guest. And it's a little tense, they throw a little jab back and forth because of their history between Shane and KO. But eventually Shane brings out Davin Carrot and that big son of a bitch comes out. And KO gets in his face a little bit and it's like, I remember you choke slammed me last week, so we're going to go eventually. But I know you're worried about Braun tonight. I'll respect that, but we're going to go eventually. But here's something to think about. And just, reaches up 2 feet and slaps him. Gets on a little step ladder and gets up there and slaps him.
Oh, man.
Shane's got to kind of separate him. KO kind of bails back a little bit and invites his next guest, Braun, out. And then Braun comes out. Then Shane, like a good businessman, gets in between the two of them. He's like, no, you can have the fight, but you're not going to do it here. It's got to be at the underground. You're not going to waste it here on the KO show. He's not getting the exclusive, yada, yada, yada.
Nope.
But while all this chaos is going on, Aleister kind of runs around and trips KO from the ringside and crotches him like 3 times on the corner of the ring. And Shane's just like, yeah, that's unfortunate, but don't worry about that. Let's go. And just like completely ignoring it, trying to get his monsters apart, trying to save his main event. Not at all worried about, the man being forcibly castrated on the ring post over here. But
well, he made it obvious. There's no love lost between him and KO.
No, there's not.
He's like, it sucks to be him, but
I got a business run.
Shit happens.
I gotta stop this. I can't. Chaos and
it's like KO kind of started the chaos, so
hey, Shane has a business run. He can't worry about that.
That's true. He is a businessman.
He can't worry about the brutal neutering that's happening.
Oh. So after the KO show, we cut backstage to Drew McIntyre walking around and he gets the interview, which was, slightly funny. He basically ultimately says, though, that he's going to beat Keith Lee tonight. And afterwards, Keith's going to buy him a beer. They're still friends. It just got a little heated last week. So the whole point of this was just to establish that the two are still friends. There's not animosity. We don't want any confusion, especially for the kids watching over who's face and who's heel. Mm-hmm. These two guys may be fighting over the title because they're both challenger or, both competitive men, but they're both still faces. Don't worry.
They're both alphas.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, kids. They're both still good guys.
Yep.
Okay, so we're coming back from commercial break, and Retribution is just beating the crap out of Titus O'Neil and Humberto Carrillo. So after that, we go into a match: Keith Lee versus Drew McIntyre. Non-title match, of course.
But this is for the match last week got interrupted, so this is for Keith getting his chance to be part of the main event at Clash of Champions.
If Randy Orton doesn't make it.
Exactly. This match.
Spoiler alert.
Well, this match was honestly kind of about the same as last week as far as the meat of the match that they put on between the two of them.
Yeah.
Keith does his power, his high fly. I mean, they're both such a good mixture of agility and power, and together they do a lot of similar things, and they can work very well together. But it was a very similar match to what we saw last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which makes you worry a little bit because maybe they can't wrestle a different kind of match. So maybe at a pay-per-view we wouldn't get something different from them those two. I don't know.
And then especially with Randy Orton's style of wrestling,
Oh God. But it was a good match, but like the Randy Orton match against Keith Lee, when Randy hit his finisher and then Drew jumped in, Drew hits the Claymore on Keith, and before he can capitalize,
out of nowhere with the chair,
Randy Orton attacks Drew McIntyre with the chair, hits him several times, digs the point of the chair into the jaw, the cracked jaw.
Oh, yeah. And then that jaw even further.
Yeah, gives Keith Lee a punt. So it was the Viper striking. After Randy strikes, we cut to commercial. We come back, and he's in the ring cutting a promo. And he's basically like, he's saying, how dare any of you doubt that I was even going to come back? And I get these talking about the fact that they had a Keith Lee, even competing to be in the match or having a chance to, but like, let's face it, no one in the audience was doubting it. All right. We're not.
No, we're
not.
But he walks over to the ambulance and cuts a pretty good promo about lying in the back of it and knowing that's what all the people that he put in the ambulance felt like. And it made him feel powerful. And he wanted to, hurt Drew even more. And he knew that he was going to, use this ambulance to secure his next championship and yada, yada, yada. Actually, it's a pretty good promo. So wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I liked it. Good intensity. And, of course, Randy's a master at his craft. He's a master at making you hate him even in real life. In a world where kayfabe's been killed, he still managed to make people not like him in real life. He manages to keep it alive just enough, so. I want to hate him, but, begrudgingly.
So next we go into a backstage segment with Asuka. As she's cutting her promo, Billy Cages interrupts. Chattering. And then Peyton Royce interrupts. And this leads into Asuka actually calling out Peyton Royce. Because nobody's ready for Asuka.
But tonight, Asuka's ready for you. So Asuka is ready for Peyton. He's going to take her on this evening.
Yeah.
But Billy and her establish that they're still friends. So I'm happy to see that at least. Peyton was acting a little arrogant, over Billy, a little bit better than Billy, copping a little bit of an attitude. But they're keeping them together for now, and I have that little bit of hope to hold on to.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And this, how I feel about it, like, yes, Peyton might be the better wrestler, but Billy's the better personality.
And seeing them together is nothing short of iconic.
All right, so next we go into our number one contender match, Mickie James versus Zelina Vega. Now, Mickie James, she got to redeem herself from that match. She really do.
I don't think she has to redeem herself. I think the referee's got to redeem himself.
Yeah, that was a weirdo one.
Which is probably why he wasn't on tonight.
Yeah, that was. But
yeah, what was the deal with that again? He just fucked up?
Yeah, he botched the call.
Okay. He thought that she quit and she didn't. Okay. Well, it is what it is.
Oh, well.
But it's funny because like Zelina Vega is so small that like basically any woman working with her is basically working a big woman match against her.
She's pretty much a new AJ Lee, something like that.
She's just so tiny.
Yeah.
Teacup wrestler. But she's an amazing freaking wrestler, man.
She really is. I'm looking forward to this.
Mm-hmm.
But Nikki looks pretty strong during this. But Zelina definitely gets her offense into and ends up winning with a backstabber. I wouldn't say MJ looks bad or weak or anything, but like
No, she didn't.
We did get this big hype of her coming back, and she's lost 2 matches in a row. So it's like, okay, got it. You guys had to hype her up when she was coming back and put her in against the champion like she meant something because we're putting her back in the position she was in before she was out. And that was putting over new. Well, you use the old hand to put the new people over, and that's fine. I mean, that's what they're there for. That's why you go hire the old guys to come back and get beat up by the new guys for a few years before you throw them in the Hall of Fame and say goodbye to them. And then they do a podcast where they talk about how much Vince sucks, and then they sign with AEW. That's the cycle.
We go into a segment earlier today where Tozawa was on the hunt for R-Truth and his 24/7 title. So we see R-Truth go back on the beach, his baby, and little Jimmy with his fabulous return.
It's R-Truth and Akira Tozawa go to the beach. It's all turning into a bad Benny Hill.
Don't forget about little Jimmy, man.
And little Jimmy. And
but Tozawa's best idea was we're gonna hide in the ocean.
The ref wasn't for the idea, but I thought it sounded like a good idea. What you think?
These just get dumber and dumber every week, and I guarantee you Vince is laughing louder and louder every time.
Such good shit.
This is such good shit.
He thought there was a shark.
I really hope they got a permit for that.
Probably.
That's kind of illegal to yell at shark at a beach.
But at the end, yes, R-Truth still retains his 24/7 title.
Was there even a pin attempt? I remember this thing.
No.
It was just, he retains it because he dropped it in the water because he saw a shark fin, and then he braved the water to go back and get it, and he saved Jimmy and the title from the
Jimmy
water.
saved the title. He saved Jimmy.
Oh, okay. Yep. Excuse me. Well, I'm glad Jimmy was there then.
Yes, little Jimmy. That's a future Hall of Famer right there, man. You got to show some respect to little Jimmy.
You know he's going to induct the R-Truth, right?
Yes, he is.
He's going to talk for 20 minutes, and Gnarly R-Truth is like laughing. It's like, you can only, no one like little Jimmy can tell a 20-minute joke, man.
Up until last year, he had an imaginary friend named Philip.
Seriously?
Yeah, he was actually the best man at our wedding.
No one can tell a 20-minute joke like Phil can. I love you like a brother, man.
Yeah, guys, we suck. We got so excited about talking about little Jimmy. We forgot to mention that after the Mickie James losing to Zelina Vega, we had cut backstage and seen the Hurt Business beating down the bronze level members of Retribution.
They were putting a beating on them, dude.
Yeah, they were beating down the lackeys, you know. Yeah, they had like 30 guys laying around beat up. It looked like a bad kung fu movie, you know. We're like a Ninja Turtles flick where all the Foot Clan are all like laid out, and there's just the turtle standing tall. So,
but actually do look like a Ninja Turtle, honestly. I'm telling you, just put the bandana around his eyes or something.
Oh shit, he does. So after the R-Truth segment, we get the Hurt Business out in the ring, and MVP kind of cuts a promo on Retribution, talking about how they're going to beat him up some more after they beat him down earlier. You know, basically they're just going to keep putting the hurt on him. And then Cedric, of course, cuts his promo, you know, on his former friends, on Apollo, especially for all the beatings he took for Apollo's championship, for Apollo's sake. And of course, Apollo and Ricochet come out. We're going to have the match between Apollo and Cedric next, which, man, I didn't realize how close in size Cedric and Apollo were. Like, I thought Apollo was bigger than that, but they were.
Muscle mass wise, but height wise, I think Cedric actually got him beat.
Really?
Yeah. But maybe a couple inches, but yeah, I think
I didn't realize Apollo was that much smaller than, or was that small. You know, I mean, he's jacked, but like I didn't realize he was that short.
Shorter than 205 guy.
Yeah, it's funny. But it was actually pretty even match. Wasn't bad, but eventually Cedric would be on the outside with Apollo and throw him back in the ring and start jawing with Ricochet. And after he gets back in the ring, Apollo's able to roll him up for the 1, 2, 3. You know, because we got to get that manatee play with his favorite ball, that roll up ball. Roll ups and DQs all night long. Did we get a clean finish all night long?
The Zelina Vega one.
The Zelina Vega one, yeah, that was.
I think that was
tag team match.
Yeah, the tag team match too. You're right. Okay. We did get a lot of DQs and roll ups though. That manatee was playing with his favorite balls tonight. That manatee loves to fondle his favorite balls. I'm telling you, man. After Apollo wins, him and Ricochet are leaving the ring, and the rest of the Hurt Business comes out, meet him on the ramp, and the Hurt Business just beat the two guys down again. We are going to see Apollo taking on Bobby Lashley for the United States title again, but he and Ricochet just keep getting their butt whipped week after week after week, and they just...
And I'm not expecting anything different at Clash of Champions. Yeah. I'm really not.
So their credibility is kind of toast at this point. And we've said that before, though, and it doesn't change week after week and them getting beat down, so... But it is what it is. I guess we gotta I could beat that dead horse until it's well and truly dead, I suppose.
I guess the only curveball that they could throw at us now is possibly Retribution getting involved.
It's just gonna be a DQ Clash of
Yeah.
Champions then. Fuck, who wants that?
Okay, so after this, we get into our first segment of Raw Underground, which is Dolph Ziggler versus what's his name? Adolfo Ruiz. Which I mean, a very credible fighter, honestly.
Yeah, he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion.
Yeah.
And looks like he does a lot of capoeira stuff there too. Yeah, they put on a good. They should put on a really good scrappy fight, but I mean it's Raw Underground, which bores the shit out of me and doesn't really count. And Dolph ends up winning with the rear naked choke.
Oh, yeah. Very close fight, act.
Very close fight. If you like this sort of thing, this was a fun match. If you don't, and you're bored with it like me, then it was another Raw Underground match. So it was what it was. It's the same 6 fighters fighting each other each week. So, with the occasional chump getting beat up before some of the main fighters get into it. It's kind of like watching like old WWE superstars again, except for it looks like, it's shot in a tetanus-filled abandoned factory. So Seth comes out to cut a promo with a little manila envelope in his hand. He's doing his Maury Povich, baby's daddy thing. They invite the Mysterios out, and it's the same kind of crap we saw with the whole Eddie Guerrero,
We've seen this before. And everybody acknowledged that, hey, this happened already, man. What are you doing?
Oh, yeah. Like Ray says it, even Seth says it, but Seth's like, technology's changed. But then again, I may have made a mistake. I did tell my investigator just to check out the Mysterio kid. So this could be about your daughter, not about your son, Aaliyah. So Ray, though, the Aaliyah and the, what's the wife's name again? Angie, they look like they're trying not to laugh, the whole time. But Ray's like, she's only 19 years old. She doesn't know how our world works. You just keep her name out of your mouth, which pisses Aaliyah off because she basically gets called naive by her dad, young and naive. She storms off. Angie storms off after her. Ray storms off after them. Dom just stares daggers at Seth and he walks out. Seth plays it straight, kind of one of those like PSA sort of innings. Like, if you or your family's been hurt by something like this, you just need to get help. And it's very serious.
I bought it. I don't care. I bought it.
Anyway, he sits on the mic, walks out, and he, smile cracks across his face, like very, much like Grinch or Tim Curry in Home Alone 2. That, he put that little seed of doubt in there, He even mentioned the fact that, his daughter went and, instead of checking on Dominic, she checked on Murphy, which is something we brought up. And, Ray's like, my daughter's compassionate, blah, 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 blah. But they're trying to make that little connection there too. And they're just trying to drive the wedge. And it looks like it's working so far. So we're continuing the Seth and Ray family feud. And if they're going to keep it going, at least they're finding new ways of making it interesting, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
If it had just been about Dom's parentage, we'd all been like, who cares? But adding the daughter into it, adding a new dynamic to it, at least makes it a little bit fresher. So I don't think they should keep it going as long as the last segment did. I think they, it needs to start wrap it up pretty soon. But,
yeah, pretty much. Because
this thing does get a little bit longer, does extend it a little bit more.
Because Seth's own family is about to happen soon, so he's going to need some time off.
He most definitely is going to need some time off to go do the maternity leave thing.
He's due in December, I think.
Oh, he's definitely going to need some time off.
Well, they're probably going to use the shit out of him until then.
Yeah. So yeah, that timeline puts Becky Lynch back to be able to be back at WrestleMania.
All right, so up next we have the women's tag team match between our current women's tag team champions Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, and the new jobber tag team of Natty and Lana.
Yep.
Why did I almost forget her name?
Because the WWE's forgotten she existed for a long time, and now they're actually actively punishing her. So.
Yes.
Oh, okay. But yeah, this pretty much goes how I expected.
Yeah, the Riot Squad's out on commentary. This match does not last very long. They make short work of Natty and Lana, with Lana basically just being an offense sponge. She ends up tapping out to the Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs clutch, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Coquita clutch.
No, that's...
Oh, no, not the Coquita clutch.
The Karafuda clutch.
Yes.
Karakuda. The Barracuda clutch. So yeah, the Barracuda clutch, she taps out, and afterwards the women's tag team champions go and attack the Riot Squad on the outside, and they kind of pick up Mandy to put her through the announce table the way they did Lana last week, but Ruby pulls her down. They kind of scamper off. So
they face off, and then
seeing Lana there, they pick her up and put her through the table again because, hey, that's what happens when you're
Lana and Natty are the Viking Raiders, pretty much.
Well,
the women's tag division.
She gets to go through a table 2 weeks in a row because her husband signed with AEW.
And talk bad about him.
Yeah.
So this is what you get, guys. Yeah, when her contract's up, she's going to be going too.
Probably.
But they won't miss her.
After that, we cut to Drew McIntyre in the trainer room with an ice pack on his jaw. And, he says he's going to get Randy. And right now, he's going to go pick a fight.
Where are you going? I'm going to pick a fight.
We'll see what comes of that later. After Drew does his Braveheart impersonation, we go to commercial. We come back, and the Mysterios are backstage arguing. Aaliyah's basically telling her dad, just basically ticked off at him for calling her naive and ignorant, and she storms off, and Angie just tells Ray to let her go and let her cool off. So there's more family drama. Fun.
All right, so next we go into Raw Underground with our next fight, Eric versus Riddick Moss. I mean, it's actually going back and forth between the two. It really is. But, at the end of it all, Riddick Moss gets that victory because, you know what they're doing to the Viking Raiders.
Mm-hmm. Well, Eric is like any other tough guy that you just make a jobber, like, Kane in his later years. You have to let him have some offense during the match because you can't just let him get in there and get stomped. Like, it can never be a squash.
No.
They can never be squashed, but they still can't win. So.
Yeah, Riddick with knockout, so.
It looked all right, but yeah, Riddick just boom, hit that one right on the jaw perfect, and Eric lights out, and night for the Viking Raider. So after we leave the Underground, we go to our match tonight between Asuka and Peyton Royce with Billie Kay at ringside, so at least the Iconics.
Yeah, well.
At least they're still hanging out as friends, so there's that.
Yeah, true. And, Asuka actually looked good in this match, like always. She really did. Peyton just got a little bit of offense in. Not too much. But at the end, of course, we know one of the Manatee's new favorite ball, interference.
Well, it's the DQ ball. The DQ ball is his second favorite ball after the roll up. So I mean, it's not a new ball. It's one of his favorites, really.
Yeah, pretty much. But
we're gonna do the DQ finish tonight. It was a pretty short match, I thought. I didn't really get a whole lot of time to spend with. Peyton didn't look bad either, though. I mean, she got a little bit of offense in. But she's just starting her singles career, and Asuka's going into a title defense. You can't have either one of them lose tonight. So, of course, Selena runs in and interferes in this thing just a couple minutes in. So, but she attacks Asuka. Asuka pushes her off, kicks her in the stomach, and Zelina just bails out immediately after taking just a little bit of offense.
Ducking that back fist.
Oh, yeah. I guess I would too, to be fair. So
yeah, I know. That looked like that could knock somebody out completely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Zelina versus Asuka match. Zelina's a lot of fun to watch. I don't know if she should win the championship right out. Although her winning the championship right off and then trying to be like a little scurry and cowardly heel and, keep it for a little while through nefarious means might be kind of fun right now. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see.
Yeah, we haven't had that since AJ, really.
We haven't had that since Paige.
Alexa Bliss was a little bit like
Alexa
that.
was a little bit like that, yeah.
So after the match, we cut backstage and we see Aaliyah sitting by herself, and Murphy comes up and he's like, this whole set thing with you and your family, everything's gotten out of control. So if I've done anything to hurt you or anyone you care about, I'm deeply sorry and I apologize. And then Murphy walks away. So honestly, Murphy's just playing those head games, but there's some more under Seth's direction, I think. So
I think that's what it is too, man.
So yeah, we'll see how this goes. The storyline's not bad. It's second most interesting thing going on Raw outside of the Drew, Keith Lee, Randy Orton thing.
I mean, I guess it's just because we have so much time invested into it. Like I'm out now.
Yeah. Well, no, this new added thing is more interesting to me. Like, to see what they're going to do with Aaliyah or where they're leading to. Like, honestly, I don't want to watch. All right, let's put it this way. With this little mystery they just developed here, if this was like a series you could binge watch, I would just go watch the last episode and see who the murderer was. I'm not really interested in watching the whole burn up to it, but I'm kind of curious to see what they do with her now that they're bringing her into it. I just want to see where they end up with her. Because you're right, I am kind of tired of Seth versus the Mysterio family. But what else is going on that you're really that invested in?
I know. 2 weeks.
So now we go into our main event for the Raw Underground. Braun Strowman versus Davikato. Straight up big man versus big man fight. But these guys were actually scrapping, man. They were throwing hands. They were pulling out moves.
And they were tired real quick. They were gassed in in under 30 seconds, which, if you've ever actually been in a boxing ring, I know they didn't have gloves on, but you wear out real quick, man.
You really do. You really do.
Yeah. Yeah, Braun actually did, get a back mount and went for, a rear naked choke and actually just tried to do some, actual ground wrestling because he actually had someone his size he could do this stuff with.
Yeah, it's not a smaller guy this time.
But didn't last too terribly long. Eventually, Yabba Dabba Doo stepped up and Braun gave him a knockout punch. And as soon as he went to the ground, Braun goes to the ground and pound. And the ref calls it. So Braun stands tall over Dubstepping Carrot. Or dabbing carrot, that's what we call it.
Now I want to see him fight that security guard.
Assuming that your security guard can move, because I haven't seen him step away from that. I haven't seen him walk
Well, not
yet.
this security guard. I'm talking about another security guard.
He hit 2 steps when
when Braun showed up the other day.
Yeah, he did the 2 steps in front of Shane.
Okay, that's about the most we see him move because he's never moved from that spot. When he was the ninja, he didn't move. He just stood there. Let's say he may be propped up on stilts. Who knows? After Braun beats Davikato, we get our main event for the evening, which should be the Hurt Business versus Retribution in their first official match. We found out early in the night that they do have contracts, so they are officially, part of the WWE, even though they hate it. Whatever.
Oh.
So we're gonna get Slapjack, who is
Shane Thorne.
T-Bar,
yeah.
Dominic Dijakovic.
and Mace.
Dio Madden.
And at least that's who we're assuming all these people are. Dio, we're pretty sure because the tattoos all match up and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Did it start off with Predator or did it start off with Bane?
I don't remember if it started with Bane, Bane, Predator, and Jason. Yeah, Tiny Jason. Mini Jason, Predator, and Dime Store Bane. That's funny. I don't remember who it started off with. I just remember that looking at fucking Dime Store Bane's makeup. I was like, man, the fucking Ascensions at home just pissed off they're not part of this. We were perfect for this.
I mean, they had the makeup in already.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll just use the stencils we use.
Yeah, they might as well use the Ascension for this.
Out, and they wasted all that money.
It's more red and black. Keep going.
Makeup expensive, guys.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad match. Bobby looked dominant over everybody still, even though Dion was it?
Mace.
Dio's Predator.
Sorry. Even though Predator looked giant and looked bigger than Bobby, Bobby was definitely was physically kind of dominating everyone in the ring and was definitely showing why he's the CEO of the Hurt Business. Not a bad match, but it ended so bizarrely.
Mace and T-Bar saw some great tag team chemistry.
They did. They really did. The ending was kind of weird, though. Bobby Lashley puts the Hurt Lock on Slapjack or whatever.
Jason, whatever.
Yeah, Mini Jason. And Dime Star Bane, still on the apron, walks over and pokes him in the face.
Yeah,
eye rakes or something. And the ref just calls it off, which I guess because the eye rake's an illegal move and most people would kind of do it behind the ref's back. I don't know, but people break up stuff when they're tag team partners in peril constantly. So I'm not real sure why this got the DQ. It wasn't very clear to us why. Because it said something
I'm not sure either, man.
Person on the outside touched someone on the inside. That's illegal. But anyway.
Unless he tapped out before then. I don't know. It looked like he was waving his arms. He could have.
I think they called it on a DQ.
Yeah, they did. But after that, that's when the rest of the fucking Retribution shows up and they start beating up Hurt Business. And then McIntyre's music hits. Here's the fight he was going to pick. He's rallied the troops and the whole locker room empties. And they start just whipping the piss out of Retribution, which is a fine sight to see. They're finally banding together to take out Retribution. But during the chaos, while Drew is, in the fray, of course, the Viper strikes and gives him the RKO. So Randy stands tall as we go off the air tonight. Yeah, pretty much. So he has the momentum going into Clash of Champions.
Which means he'll lose, hopefully, because I still like Drew with the title.
Yeah, I do too, man.
But all in all, I mean, this tonight, there was a lot of just kind of BS endings, but we're this close to a pay-per-view, and so you can't have a lot of definitive answers. You want to have those definitive answers at the pay-per-view. I get it, but I can't help as the viewer to not feel like I didn't waste my time a little bit. Like, just had the guys going into the matches beat some jobbers so they look strong going into their matches or something. You know, I don't know. Just the no finishes and the DQs and the interferences and just it's
Seems rushed.
Yeah, it does.
it's lazy. It's lazy. It's just like we're out of ideas. What do we do? Just another DQ. Another roll up.
It's like at a certain point, we don't care. The fans are still gonna watch anyway.
Well, here we are reviewing it, I suppose.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. That was another episode of Heels Up. That was Raw from 9/21/20. We will see you guys this Friday for SmackDown.